Alright, so a little bit of role-playing here. Let's pretend we're a zombie. We're just going around looking for brains. No humans inside. Try next door. Huh. Well, that seems logical. I think I will try that. Thank you. This is Stryker of Enyo, and welcome to Achievement Guidebook, where we take a look at easy-to-obtain achievements / trophies. Today, we're actually looking at 2 of the harder achievements to get in 7 Days to Die on consoles, but I'm going to show you a very easy way to get them. Actually, it's a set of 8 total achievements, but they are all linked to 2 primary achievements / trophies that we're going to be attempting, so we're going to get them along the way. And they are possibly 2 of the most time-consuming achievements / trophies in the game. One, nearly Immortal, which is surviving 1,250 minutes in a single-player game, and the Picture of Good Health, which is achieving a wellness level of 200. So, nearly Immortal, while fairly time-consuming, is actually not that hard, at least not once we make a few adjustments. You need to survive for 20 hours and 50 minutes in a local game. Oh, sorry, I'm using the Xbox color. I bet you Sony fanboys are a little upset. That's why I made this. There. Do you feel more comfortable? Can we move on so we don't be hate-mailing each other? Alright. So, hey, 20 hours and 50 minutes, yeah, in a local game without dying. Don't worry, you can save whenever you want and come back to your game. Now, you can make this task hard for yourself or easy. I found a method that works, so we will be using that. The Picture of Good Health is probably one of the most complicated achievements or trophies in the game. This is because there's only a few ways to raise your wellness in the game, and anytime you die, you lose 10 levels. You can raise your wellness by consuming food items that you've prepared by yourself, like cornbread, eggs and bacon, the stews, cooked meats, the different teas, and vitamins. Also, I will be explaining everything that pertains to making water and food for yourself in a step-by-step basis. I know you're saying, Stryker, I played this game for 200 hours. I know what I'm doing. Just give me the shorthand version so I can do it on my own. Look, that's great, but if I make a video like that just for the hardcore players, that might be only an audience of 10% of all gamers. Then I will receive dozens of emails and comments every month on, Stryker, I don't know how to make cornbread. Is corn on the cob better than cornbread? How do you fertilize soil? How do you make those empty bottles you have in your inventory? I heard you have really big feet. Does that mean you got a big dick? I don't know how to make boiled water. Can you join my game and show me how? Seriously, this happens all the freaking time. I get messages even when I think I've covered everything, so just follow along or use the time codes in the description or time stamps. What do we need to call these things now? Which one does YouTube use? I mean, it means the same thing technically, but whatever. Let's move on. So the key to these 2 achievements and everything that's related to them is the options. We're going to set the options up so that we have no zombies, and we're going to make it really, really easy on us. So go ahead and pick New Game. Pick your character, whatever it is. First, we need to go to New Game, Local Game. Select Local Game. We want to keep it on Navezgane because we want a predictable world to work with. Go down to Local Game Options, then Standard Options. These will be on the screen as well, so you'll be able to follow along. Set the difficulty to Scavenger, Never Run, Normal, and Daylight Length to 18. Then we want to back out and go into Modded Options. So back out of Standard Options, go into the Modded Options. Enemy respawns to disable. Enemy memory ain't gonna really matter. And hopefully you don't want to die, so drop on death doesn't really matter either. But yeah, so enemy respawns are going to be on disabled. That's going to get rid of all the zombies and all the enemies. Block durability to 25. This means that blocks will only have 25% of their normal starting durability. Loot respawn time to 5. And loot abundance to 200%. We also want to make the 24-hour cycle set to 120 minutes per day. And that should do it. So by doing this, you will have 1.5 hours of in-game daylight to work with before it becomes dark. Trees and all other objects will break down fast. You'll gain twice as much loot than normal. Any place you loot will have its contents respawn in 5 days, and most importantly, there will be no zombies. In fact, you don't need to worry about any type of enemies. No zombies, no zombie dogs, no zombies, and no bears. So you don't have to worry about this whatsoever. You just need to make sure you have enough clean water and food and survive for 1,250 minutes real time. And you'll get all the achievements / trophies related to lasting the 20 hours and 50 minutes. We will actually get that one before we reach 200 wellness. So first things first, let's show you a good setup location and get you started. I'll show you the main locations that we are going to use. Make a note of them now on this chart. You can pause and copy them down if you wish, but I will show each location individually along with the coordinates later on, so you'll see them again. But for right now, let's jump right into the game. So once we get into the game and we start it properly, number one is make your way to Diersville. So first we need to make our way to Diersville. That's going to be our primary location. Here's the coordinates on screen for you if you didn't copy them down from before. Along the way, be sure to complete the tutorial mission for the +5 skill points. Once we get to Diersville, we basically want to do number 2, which is pick a house to be your base. I recommend it be in the top row so it's close to the farm, a water source, and it keeps you away from other houses once you start looting the bottom rows of the town before they start to respawn supplies. Doesn't need to be in the exact same spot that I'm in, just as long as it's in the top row, it should be pretty good. After you've picked your house, then we need to start number 3, which is to start collecting for a cooking pot, empty cans, and all the empty bottles and murky bottles of water that we can find. It should be easier than normal, especially with loot increased 2 times. The cooking pot should be fairly easy to find while looting the houses. So check sinks and ovens before the day ends. We want to get that cooking pot. That's really the most important thing. Then head towards the corn farm northwest of Diersville. And we're going to move on to number 4, and that's go to the corn farm and collect 100+ ears of corn. So once you got yourself a cooking pot and maybe a few empty cans and a few bottles and whatnot, maybe a few murky bottles of water, we want to start collecting corn. You won't be able to gather all the corn that you need for this process at once, but try to get at least 100 ears of corn to start with. We will eventually need at least 400 ears of corn from what I've gathered, but quite honestly, we want to gather much closer to 450 in total to be sure. That should be plenty. You shouldn't need to be planting any corn seeds, but it is kind of nice. But for the most part, the corn farm should have that many ears of corn for you, or you will easily have enough seeds to replant them and to get your 450 ears of corn. But quite honestly, it's not a big deal if we hit 500 or 600. It'll help us out no matter what. So now just head back to Diersville and start looting, starting with the houses on the bottom rows of the furthest away from you. Build a campfire and start turning murky water into clean bottles of water. So now we just need to worry about water and food. So number 5, you need water, specifically boiled water. We need water to survive, but we need to use the bottles of water in order to make the food that we are going to use. So our source of drinking water is actually going to be boiled water. That's where the empty cans are for. We're going to use those empty cans while standing in or near a water source, such as a pond, a river, or a lake, and this will create a canned murky water. You can fill a stack of empty cans with water just like a stack of empty bottles. Although it will have a positive effect on your hydration and stamina, it will also have a negative effect on your wellness. with a 50% chance of contracting dysentery. We don't want that. So be sure to take that canned murky water and boil it in the campfire to create boiled water. I know what you're thinking. Stryker, I'll burn my tongue on that, which I will reply, it's a video game, you idiot, not real life. No, seriously, there absolutely is no negative effect for drinking a can of steaming hot boiled water. In the game, mind you, dear Lord, don't try it in real life. Plus, you get the empty can back. While bottled water can be stacked, boiled water cannot be stacked. So we need to make a couple of chests to hold them. The nice thing is that we can take canned murky water and turn it into boiled water at the campfire without the cooking pot. So this should be your primary means of drinking water. So start doing this right away. So why do we need to grab all those bottles of water? Well, that's for making cornbread. So always grab empty cans and glass bottles and murky bottles of water or whatever. All the time. So number 6 is you need food. Badly. Well, I mean, to survive. The best food to make early in the game is cornbread. It gives you a fullness of +5 and a wellness gain of +0.4 each. So yes, this will boost your wellness. The different types of corn can be a little confusing. When you break or harvest the corn plant, you will get corn seeds and an ear of corn. The ear of corn is an edible food item, but only +1 fullness. You can break down an ear of corn into corn seeds, which enable you to plant and farm your own corn plants. You may notice that you can take the ear of corn and make corn on the cob. Corn on the cob is also a food item that can be created by using a cooking pot on a campfire. The +1 fullness is +3, which is better, and it does give you wellness, but only a +0.08. So cornbread gives us a wellness of +0.4. So we want to go with that instead. So forget about corn on the cob. Go to the corn in your inventory and inspect it. Pick recipes and you will see the cornmeal recipe. Yeah, it's a little hidden. You're not going to notice it right away, but then we want to turn the cornmeal into cornbread. It will cost you 1 ear of corn and 1 bottle of water. Unfortunately, you don't get the glass bottle back, like I was saying. That's why you need as many as you can find. And eventually, we will need to make our own glass bottles, but that comes in later on. So number 7 is the survivor skill. One of the skills that you want to invest in is the survivor under health and wellness. You will gain an additional percentage of wellness from everything you eat. And yes, it does make you get full faster, but the added wellness buff really negates the fact you don't need to eat as much. The first upgrade will get you 11% wellness increase, but the second upgrade is 25% wellness gain. You might not make it to the third upgrade, which is a nice 43%, but you need to be at level 20 for that. And if we're doing everything right and relatively quickly, you might not be able to get to level 20 unless you're kind of playing for fun. So the next step is, well, I mean, that's pretty much it. I mean, for you hardcore players it is. You got the main steps, what game settings you need to use, a good location to do the method. You had to sit through some extra explaining, but you already know that you need to just keep eating and drinking, namely using the boiled water and making cornbread, and don't die for the next 30-some plus hours in order to get all the related achievements / trophies. You probably know that planting some more corn wouldn't hurt, and you will probably need to make your own glass bottles at some point, but you already know the location of a forge in the Navezgane map and a location of a workbench. So, I mean, we're basically going to say goodbye to you here, and thanks for watching. Oh, and along the way, you probably got yourself a few achievements somewhat early, like Brush with Death, which is only 50 minutes lived in a single-player game. So that one should come to you pretty quickly, and by this time, you probably are already going to get near-death experience, which is 150 minutes lived. So there you go, a couple achievements already. Now, for the rest of you, you just need to keep watching, and I'm going to walk you through exactly what you need to do next. We'll visit some other locations, we'll show you some additional food items you can make for yourself, and get you all set with a workbench and a forge. So let's start the next section. So here we go. This is your new priorities now. I'm going to be listing these over. We're going to be going into a lot more detail than before, but there's some things I'm going to have to skip because quite honestly, I had recorded and edited enough footage to fill an hour's worth of time, and I did audio commentary for that hour on that footage. You don't need that, so there's some things I'm going to remove, essentially, like the details on all the steps you need for a workbench or all the steps you need to create your own forge. I just don't have the time in this video to display every little detail like this. So there's a few things you might need to look up on the wiki page yourself, but the link is in the description, so please go there. But this is the short list of the several things that you're going to want to be on the lookout for. Some of these I'll cover in more detail a little bit later, along with some locations and stuff, but this is the list that you need to keep in mind while you're working toward that 10 and 20 hour achievement stuff, along with also getting your 200 wellness. So your new priorities are going to be A, keep looting for supplies. That's right, we're going to loot the entirety of Diersville and those 3 rich houses, but at some point we're going to need to make our own glass jars anyway. So aside from that, we also want to go to B, which is collect bottles, cans, fill with water, and make clean water out of those. So as you're collecting and as you're looting, you want to get all the empty cans, empty bottles, and murky bottles that you can. You need to be using your campfires and cooking pot to make clean water. Always have murky bottles converting into bottled water if you have cooking pots and campfires available. And you want to be making canned murky water converting into boiled water. It takes 1 full minute for every 10, so you can see it's going to take you some time to make some of these. Put them in designated chests. C, you always want to be making cornbread. You always need to be using your campfires and cooking pots to make cornbread, any that are available. You should have 2 cooking pots after a short amount of time anyway. I cannot stress this enough. It takes time to make cornbread, and you don't want to be making it at the last minute while you're starving. Cook as many as you can at a time, then put them in a designated chest. You always want to have a chest that you know has cornbread and boiled water in it. And that leads us to D, which is make your own glass jars at a forge. Eventually, we're going to need to go off and get a forge, which I have the location of. I'll have more detail on that a little bit later. As always, check in the description for the time codes. But yeah, we're going to need to make our own glass jars because we're just not going to find enough to create the 400 or 450 pieces of cornbread that we need to actually survive. Remember, we're drinking primarily through the boiled water and those cans that we find. So we need to find all the cans. But yeah, we're going to need to make our own glass jars. We actually need that much cornbread to survive. So, and then there's also E, which is to make our own forge and workbench. If you want to build your own forge, then you need a bellows and a short iron pipe. You primarily need this forge to make the glass jars, but also making forged iron can be used to give you a few nice other things to build. Don't worry about the short iron pipe too much. You can use the other forge that I'm going to give you a location of coming up in order to turn iron into forged iron, and then you can make the short iron pipe from that. But in all your looting, you should find a couple of short iron pipes, so just make sure to grab them and hang on to them. The bellows is a short iron pipe, which is easy enough to make, and then you also need 20 leather or 20 animal hides. So destroy couches for leather and kill animals for their hides. That's why you need to be taking out animals, is mostly for their hides. And then we're going to check in around the 10-hour mark. I'll tell you what you need to have done, maybe an achievement or two that should have popped up by that point. Then we're going to check in again around the 20-hour mark. Again, these are going to be in the description below, the time codes for them. And then we're going to cover what you're going to need to do in order to get that 200 wellness. So it's a little trick of being frozen and being in hypothermia stage 1 and 2 that we're going to use in order to get that ultimate goal. Like I said, that's going to be all in the description. So let's keep going and see a couple of the details and locations that are going to help us out. So like I was saying before, there's a couple other locations that are kind of important. Like I said, we want to loot the bottom 2 rows of town first. Then we want to take a break from that and go up to the 3 rich houses. Along the way is a pass and gas. That actually has a workbench inside. Here's the coordinates for that, along with the 3 rich houses. The pass and gas is just directly north of the corn farm, which is pretty easy. The workbench will give you a few other things that you can build, so there's a free one right here. It's not too far. Eventually we can make our own though, so we don't need to go anywhere. The 3 rich houses, here's the coordinates for those as well. The 3 rich houses are a great place to loot. We're going to do this early, and then we're going to go back to town and start clearing out the middle section of town. We do this relatively early in this run because we want to be able to come back here in 5 days' time if we have cleared out most of the town by then. So by the hour 10 mark, this is going to be our halfway point to reaching our goal of 20 hours and 50 minutes. You should be in pretty good shape. By the 8 or 10 hours in mark, you should have your current chest filled with boiled water, maybe a few put into a backup chest. You should have a halfway decent pistol by now to be using it to headshot deer and pigs for some good meat and animal hides. Make a bone shiv to cut the meat until you find a proper knife. You will get one achievement around the halfway point, that is Cheated Death, which is 500 minutes lived in a single player game. So that'll let you know when you're about halfway through your task. You can keep track of how much cornbread you have at this point and whatnot. You shouldn't need to worry about planting too much more corn. I did during my run. It doesn't hurt to at least plant several rows. You got the time. I took all the good corn plants from this top strip straight east of the road for 6 to 7 rows. Everything in this strip to the east of the house. And then all the good plants in this entire southeast quadrant from the road crossing. From all of this, I got 280 ears of corn and 410 corn seeds. You should only need another 150 ears of corn at the most. I recommend planting some more corn seeds. I don't know if the amount of good corn plants on this farm are fixed or if they're placed randomly. You would need a gardening hoe in order to till the soil, but you probably don't need to mess with that. Don't worry about fertilizer and whatnot. You'll have plenty of corn seeds, but yeah, you might need a gardening hoe and use it on the ground in a row to till the soil, but that's if you find one. Stay away from Gravestown. Everybody says it has the best loot in the game, but traveling all the way down there is risky. The biome is hotter, where you will run the risk of dehydrating quicker, and overheating may be a problem. Yes, there are no dogs, and if you stay on the road, you should be safe, but it's not worth it if you happen to run into a mine. You will die instantly and lose all those hours of playing. So as I was saying before, there's going to come a point where we need to make our own glass jars at a forge. Now here's a location of a wood cabin popping up right there. This is the one that has a forge inside. As you can see, this is where Diersville is. All we got to do is take the road going to the west. Once we hit another road, there'll be some buildings there. We want to go south. And then when we see another road, we want to go west. As you can see, that's Gravestown is further down south. We don't want that. We want to take this little road, cut on over, go around this lake, and that is where the building in question is going to be. This is a little cabin. It's great. It has a forge inside. To the left of me is where you're going to find clay and stuff, and we're going to need that in order to make the things that we need next. Even though that we have been looting as much as possible, the honest truth is that we're going to need around an additional 400 bottles of water or so to make the cornbread. At some point, we need to be able to make our own glass jars. There's a forge inside this place, and we can turn crushed sand into glass and then add some clay to it in order to make glass jars. We can also forge some iron and steel while we're here. You will need clay for several recipes, but there is a massive amount of clay directly east of the house, right next to the shoreline. I believe it's in like a light gray. That's where the clay is. This should be the closest place with a forge that I could think of on the map. There might be one closer to Diersville that's been added in an update, so you might want to check on that. But there is a forge definitely here. You can follow the road that I've uncovered, as you saw earlier in the map, and you'll find it. When you're ready to make this trip, at a minimum, bring a stack of 15 empty cans, 3 stacks of 50 cornbread. How about, let's say, a stack of 15 empty jars, 6 boiled water, all the iron that you have, all the crushed sand that you got, although you can easily get more by the lake when you need it. Bring a pistol of your best quality and a stack of pistol ammo, and then bring a cooking pot so you don't need to forge a new one. Bring the basic allotment of stone, wood, and plant with you, plant fibers, of course. Keep a few bandages and first aid kits on you just in case you fall or drop down and you hurt yourself. That way you can take care of yourself. The forge will require stone on some items. You need wood as a fuel source, of course, in order to burn things. There's going to be trees there, though, too, so you don't need to bring all of your wood. But plant fibers are also used for several things. You need 2 stacks, well, I should say 3 stacks of cornbread to keep you fed long enough in order to keep making the things that you need. Those empty cans can be constantly filled with water from the lake and boiled into drinking water, so you don't need to fill your inventory with drinking water. The pistol you can use to hunt deer for hides or any other animals that you find, because you need those in order to make a workbench, I believe, later on. Make as much forged iron as you can, because you can make some much better tools that will last a lot longer. And as a side note, don't collect glass from the hospital. Just take a shovel along with you and collect crushed sand on the shores of any river or lake in the game. It's easier, and you don't run the risk of falling to your death trying to obtain the glass on the side of the hospital. Seriously, I almost died trying to grab all the glass from some of the higher up ledges, so don't be like I was. Some people will tell you to hunt animals for meat and make the meat stews and the bacon and eggs, but you don't really need it. Yeah, it gives you more wellness per meal, but the cornbread we can make in large quantities, and there's just only so many eggs you're going to be able to find within a period of 20 to 30 hours. And there's only so many animals that you can kill, but the cornbread, we can make lots and lots of that easily.
But Stryker, what about on the 7th day? Are the zombies there? I mean, this is a zombie game. 7th day, they always show up.
Look, little Billy, we turned off zombies. They don't spawn in whatsoever. You can watch the time tick on by, but they will not show up. God, you don't look that good either.
I'm a healthy 6-year-old boy.
Yeah, we need to do something about that so I don't get sued for using this picture of you. Oh, and by the way, you don't have to do the 20 hours all in one go. I mean, I hope you know that. You literally can save whenever you want, and if you die, you can probably revert back to... I think it auto-saves. But yeah, I mean, as long as you haven't died, you can still save your game, exit, and come back to it. Just make sure you don't, change any of the settings that we had made, or else you're going to make it probably harder on yourself. But yeah, don't worry about that. So lo and behold, the 20-hour and 50-minute mark will come. Just stay alive, keep drinking clean water, and eating that cornbread, and you'll reach that landmark of 20 hours and 50 minutes and receive nearly Immortal. Yep, there it is. Surviving 1,250 minutes in a single-player game. So take your achievement/trophy, and now we need to focus on eating some cornbread. You should get a wellness achievement before this as well, alive and kicking. There it is, which is reach 125 in wellness. You might not be exactly at 150 wellness at this 20-hour, 50-minute mark, but I'm going to give you the achievement for it anyway, right now. So, there you go. Boom, there. Fit as a fiddle. Reach 125 in wellness. Once you reach 150 in wellness, it's going to take more food to achieve each wellness point, but that's why we've invested in the survivor perk. So don't forget to keep on mining minerals and stuff in order to earn more perk points in order to put that into our survivor perk. By now you've probably made a stop or two at that wood cabin, but you might have the resources in order to build your own forge and workbench. So you probably want to do that. If you want to build your own workbench, then you need to have the workbench perk. So you need to have 10 skill points, some points in toolsmithing and construction tools. The claw hammer can be made, but you might have found one. If you want to build your own forge, then you need a bellows and a short iron pipe. So here we are in my place. Yes, I already have built a forge and a workbench in my place. Seriously, you're going to be playing the game long enough. You should acquire the materials necessary to do this. What I want you to see is I want to show you my food supplies. So right here, if you have this much cornbread and water, then you will be able to make it from a wellness of 150 to 200, absolutely no problems. So that's 2 rows of 50 stacks for cornbread. You should have no problem. This is way more than enough water. If I needed to make more cornbread, I could. So feel safe once you get to this point. After you've reached your 20-hour achievement, if you have this much cornbread, you're good, because it only takes about, I think, 10 pieces of cornbread per 1 point of wellness at this point. If you have survivor perk level 3, I believe, you only need 8. So this is more than sufficient. This should easily, you're talking about each stack is going to give me 5 points. So you can do the math yourself in your head, 5, 10, 15, 20, whatever was on screen at that time. That's going to be 50 points easily. So rest assured that if you've got that much cornbread on supply, you're good. If you've got that much water in one of your containers, you're good. So don't fret. All you got to do is run out the clock. But I've actually got a method of using hypothermia so that you can actually eat faster, and we can wrap up this achievement around a total of, let's say, 25, just under 30 hours-ish. Normally you probably would have to spend about 40 hours to eat enough cornbread to get to that point. So just before we get to the final part, let's take a quick look at the map, now that I've actually uncovered quite a bit of it. As you can see, Diersville is down there. We've got the farm here. You can actually see where I planted corn. The dark black spots, that's where I've actually dug up the earth in order to plant my own rows of corn. So you can see I didn't have to really do too much. I just had to plant like maybe 4 rows or so on the far right side. Up here, that is the gas station, of course, where you can find 1 workbench, and the 3 wealthy houses are just to the west of that. As you can see, there we go. There's a little, what do you call it, like a radar station or whatever down here. You don't need to go down there, but you'll notice that if you go straight west of those 3 wealthy houses, there's another settlement out here. And no, you don't have to worry about bears in that biome. As you can see, there's another settlement right here. This is just straight south of the other one. And you can see the path that we originally took to get to that other house. So where we want to go is actually over here into the snow biome. This is where the magic is going to happen, and we're basically going to turn like another 15 hours of gameplay into a much, much shorter duration. So without further ado, let's just kind of get right into that. Oh, and I'm sorry I haven't been doing as many funny bits as I often sometimes will do. I'm just trying to get this thing finalized and get it out there. I've been waiting on this video for several months, let's just say. So I just want to get it done. I had a couple of funny bits planned, but we're just going to move on from here, okay? Alright, here we go. So, in the grand tradition of Stryker, if there's a quicker and easier way to do something, I want to find it and I want to relay that information to you guys. So, I found a way that you can actually get your hunger faster so that you have to keep eating to constantly survive. That's basically going to a snow biome. So if we come here on the map, This is the nearby snow biome. It is just, I mean, it's either directly north, but we're actually going east a little ways from town. I basically built myself a little shack, or I'm going to. You'll see the shack here coming up, so that I can go indoors and go by a fire when I need to. But yeah, so the key to all this is freezing or being at hypothermia stage 1. So that's basically where the temperature feels like it is less than 30 degrees Fahrenheit. So if a character's core temperature reaches 30 degrees Fahrenheit, they receive the freezing status effect, which gives the player a -1 fullness every second. That's fast. If you reach 20 degrees Fahrenheit or below, the hypothermia stage 1 buff will be applied, which adds a negative buff to your character's speed and stamina. Now, the hit to our stamina isn't that bad, so this is actually the sweet spot we want to be before our health is going to start to take damage. We actually want to keep our core temperature between 11 and 30 degrees Fahrenheit. It will severely drain our hunger. Seriously, if you stay between 11 and 30 degrees Fahrenheit, then you will go from 100% hunger to 0% in about 11 minutes. You will receive 1 negative fullness every 10 seconds. That's how it works. You really shouldn't have a hard time staying in that magical temperature range as long as you stay in the snow biome. And since we're on the edge here, we can actually just jump into the forest biome and maybe build ourselves another fire to be in case. But yeah, if a character's core temperature reaches 10 degrees or below, then hypothermia stage 2 buff will be applied. This actually hurts your health levels over time, and it basically will end up destroying your stamina if you try to start running. We don't want that, so stay within the range that I mentioned earlier. This is my understanding on how it works. As wellness gets above 100, it will take more wellness points to increase to the next level. Going from levels 101 to 150 will take 2 wellness points, and going from levels 151 to 200 will take 4 wellness points. There's also a 50% reduction from levels 101 to 150, and a additional 25% reduction from levels 151 to 200. I'm not exactly sure. The wiki doesn't necessarily spell it out, or how things affect. This is about the best I can kind of figure out on my own. But I do know how many cornbread I needed to eat, so here's that. So wellness of 150 to 200 while we're on the second survivor perk, 2 of 5. It takes 10 pieces of cornbread in order for me to go up 1 point of wellness. Now, if I have the survivor perk of 3 out of 5, the third stage, which you need to be at level 20 in order to get, then it only takes 8 pieces of cornbread per level. So it's not huge, but it might help you out. So keep doing this, and in a handful of hours, you will get healthy as a horse, reaching 175 in wellness. And once that achievement/trophy pops, and you keep doing this, keep freezing yourself, you'll probably, in only a matter of a couple hours, I actually went up about 25 points. So then you'll earn your coveted pitcher of good health, reaching 200 in wellness. And there's your stinking achievement. Now remember, we're in single player. You can have a second buddy join your game with a second controller, but it's not online enabled. So keeping anything in this world or making things and doing things, you don't really need this world. It's single player only. So that's going to do it. Hey, thanks for watching. I know I made it a little bit longer than it needed to be, but I really wanted to help people out trying to get this. I mean, yeah, there's lots of stuff. I made some drawbridge. I created myself a moat, yeah, so that I could come on in and just pee and poop right into the water, and I never needed to flush. I made a lot of silly stuff. Probably about like 6 different bits or whatnot. Yeah, I realized the drawbridge, like, it doesn't work right. Like, the water doesn't show up underneath it no matter what you do. I made myself a spotlight. Like, that was dumb. Or I think I brought a spotlight over from... No, I think I actually constructed myself one. So I did a lot of extra stuff, but, you know, it's not like I was streaming. Oh, yeah, I was mad at my neighbor. I pretended to shout and yell at him. I shot his house with a rocket launcher later on. Made myself an iron door. You know, lots of stuff that just, you know, need to be put in the video. But I hope what I said helped you guys out. And, you know, it was kind of the long way around it, but I shortened it for some of you. You know, that first 20 minutes is basically the info that you need if you know the game. Yeah, I organized everything. I mean, had different labels on stuff, sorted everything out that I was grabbing. But I mean, yeah, this world is useless. You can't take it online. Yeah, I spent like 2 minutes going over all the items, and I made like all these different drinks, and I was telling you how they help with your fullness. It doesn't matter. You make so much of the cornbread you don't need. Bacon and eggs gives you more wellness, yes, but you're not going to find enough eggs in the wild to feed you like cornbread does. Cornbread, you can eat 14 of them in a row and completely fill yourself up. There's just no need for other stuff, or other food, really. Just as a backup. I mean, I almost killed myself here in Gravestown. I literally almost lost like 15 or 18 hours. I almost just would have killed myself right there. But yeah, and I had so much extra. Seriously, look at this. Look how much cornbread I had extra. I had 6 stacks of 50. You know, way more than what you needed. You know, that's what, like an extra 100 points worth or something? I don't know. Well, 50 or 60 points extra of fullness. So yeah, hey, I hope you got some of it. I'll try to, the few funny bits that I have, I'll try to put them in the time code as well. I remodeled the kitchen, oh my lord. I would have made a new fridge too, but that's not an option apparently. I remade all the countertops. I put an ice chest out because I thought it looked cool. So, hey, thanks for watching. I'm going to try to make videos that are a little bit more useful than this, hopefully in the future. A little bit more in time with when they get released. So, hey, thanks for sticking with me and whatnot. I'm just going to, well, crack open a beer and watch a little bit of TV. So, hey, thank you so much for watching. I just find myself, there we go, get a beer. And just take a load off. I finally got this video done, like after 6 months of waiting. Take it easy, everybody. Ah, that's the stuff. I love this show. There's probably some videos you should be clicking on right about now, give or take. You know, maybe click on another video. Helps out the channel. I mean, it helps me out, really. But hey, thanks for watching.